Hey guys, Dennis here, Muddy Waters Search and Recovery.
Chrissy.
And I kind of left you out on that.
Yeah, you did. Rude.
But Lisa Key will be joining us here shortly.
Hey, speaking of which. Hey, there's Lisa.
And we will be discussing Aaron's case.
Hi, everybody. Bobby, Dan, Joanne, Tamara. Hi, everybody.
Joanne, very sorry to hear that. Wow, temperature of 105.
Oh, her son has COVID. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Joanne. My goodness. You want to try and get Lisa going?
Yes. Yeah. So, guys, we're going to try to bring Lisa up on here. Hey, Lisa, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Doing good.
Hanging in there.
And I believe Alex and Tammy will be joining us shortly as well. I haven't got to formally introduce you to Alex and Tammy yet, but they are full members with us with Muddy Waters, and they have just been incredible to have on the team.
Yes. Amazing people. Amazing people.
But we're just gonna turn it over to you to share what you want to share on Aaron's case. And I mean, from my end looking into this and the corruption I'm seeing, the frustration with that, I don't know how you do it.
It's not easy. These people, they only see, I guess their track record of maybe being perfect. I don't know. But the one part I think they forgot is, we're all human. Everybody makes mistakes, even a district attorney or a judge or a police officer. And people have a lot more faith in them if they decided to say, hey, we made a mistake. But this bunch is not about owning up to anything, obviously.
And not owning up, it's, to me, they are trying to cover themselves with this. I called out District Attorney Dunaway in one of our previous videos, and not just with Aaron's case, but other cases down there, I don't think I've seen as much corruption from one person as what I am seeing with him.
Well, we're supposed to have one out of Memphis too, and him and her are closely affiliated, so
wow.
It must, honestly, I don't understand why. It seems more so the people that can't afford to fight them. But then in the same token, I don't know where their conscience is. I couldn't live with what he's put families through on my conscience. Back a week before July the 26th, we'd been sending some FOIAs in to get some information. Well, we'd got information from Overton County. And then we got a thumb drive from the DA's office. Got to going through the thumb drive, and then there's a letter stating they had closed the case. October the 13th of 2020. We found out July the 26th, 2022. I had spoken with this man on the phone. I had spoken with several people in his office. I'd spoken with Randall Slayton. I actually had a meeting with Randall Slayton on the 15th of November, me and my grandson, after they had closed the case. I had been asked to come in and share evidence that I have after they had closed the case. There was no mention whatsoever in any of the phone calls, never nothing that they had closed that case. and me continually asking, can I get my son's wallet? Only if you agree to close the case. The case was closed,
Yeah,
and they were still using that. I figure if I agreed to close it that way, it'd cover their asses.
Right.
But
we're going to interrupt you just for a second, Lisa. We've got Alex and Tammy joining us now, so just be 1 second.
okay.
Hello.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Ooh,
Hold on, we're technical difficulties. Hang on.
try to get this screen. There we
that's
go.
a good one. Okay.
And Lisa, this is Alex and Tammy. Tammy, this is Lisa Key, Aaron Key's mother.
Pleased to meet you.
You.
And Alex and Tammy had just been such a godsend to Muddy Waters. Just their love and
Yeah.
compassion alone
Oh,
just
yeah.
speaks volumes. The work that they've put in on these cases has been incredible.
Yeah.
And we've discussed Aaron's case with them multiple times, and there's still a lot we got to go over
yeah.
with them on it.
Yeah.
But they're just really great people.
Well, we need all the support we can get in the 13th district, no doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Tennessee's my home state, so it breaks my heart that things are going on.
I can't hear you guys real well.
Uh-oh. Hold on, Lisa. We'll see what we got to fix
Okay.
here.
We've got the volume all the way up on our end.
Is your volume all the way up, Alex?
It is.
Mine
Okay.
is too. It's a little better.
Okay.
You know, there's so many. You know, we've actually had 2 more come in, and you know, another one seems to be a murder rule suicide. I haven't got all, you know, we haven't got all the info on it yet, but you know, so it just leaves me speechless that that a country or a little area like that. I mean, it's 7 counties. Population's not real dense. That there's that much corruption, and you know, why do you want obvious murders to be rule suicides? You know,
Covering up.
well, I know it's a quick, you know, it's a quick open and close where they don't use manpower, resources, stuff like that, you know, taxpayers' money. But I thought that's what they were there for.
Right.
And the new case that I'm talking about, actually, another one of those little notes that went with the body to the state medical examiner's office. So
That's
I think
real how that works.
that is a real problem. Yes, they'll write out a. No, I believe in Aaron's autopsy report. You actually can see what was wrote, what the officer sent him. I don't even think it said apparent suicide. I think it said suicide on Aaron's. You know, I'm dumbfounded, you know, because they're not yielding any when it comes to admitting a wrong to any of this, any of the cases. It's not just Aaron's, it's all of them. I guess there's no way they could possibly be wrong in their minds. That's all I can come up with.
How can you not? I mean, geez.
Because Aaron's case, when we first started looking at that, I looked at it different. I wanted to come in and try to prove that Aaron did commit suicide, because it's harder for like me being outside, not knowing Aaron, not being in the area. It's harder for me to prove that he did commit suicide than he didn't. So I wanted to try to prove that he did.
All right.
And from the get-go, this was not suicide.
Oh God, no.
I mean, I could not convince myself in any form of any possibility of suicide.
Well, you know, when it first happened, I had the weekend to make peace with that he had done it. You know, I left and drove all the miles, you know, with the mindset that he had done it. And when I went in the embalming room, you know, what I was looking for, what I was expecting, you know, was damage, bad, you know, lacerations and rope burns around his neck. That wasn't what I found, you know, and you know, it takes you breath, especially when you're expecting one thing and you see something else. You know, that's carved in my mind forever. Soon as I seen him, you know, I knew he hadn't been hung. He never was hung. I think they tried, but didn't realize just how big and heavy he really was. And
what was Alex? It's already starting early. What is Aaron's stats like?
Aaron was 6'6", 245 pounds.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
he's a big man.
Yeah.
And when I ended up with evidence from the scene, you know, at first I'm like, and I asked the detective, I said, why did they leave the rope, the top part of the rope? He said they didn't need that much of it. And soon as he said that, it was like warning bells went off. You know, I knew something wasn't right. And the phone calls that had started coming in, he didn't do it. You need to talk to this one or that one. And by the time he'd been gone 9 days, I knew exactly what had happened. I knew who done what, you know, the names. I had them. I had one name that was wrong, and it was a guy named Norman. I had the wrong last name. But that's the only thing I was wrong about. But Aaron knew something was coming. I don't believe he thought they would kill him. I just really don't. But the one cousin, he had a grudge to hold, you know. He wanted to hurt Aaron, but he wanted somebody to help him. So he got his help. But you know, right at this point, they've just passed a new bill, the Murder Victims' Rights Bill, HD 3359, which in essence says cold cases, murder cases, that families can ask for them to be re-examined. I don't know if this will have an effect on Aaron's case. Aaron's case was a murder, but it was ruled a suicide. So right. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But you can bet I'm going to try to use it. Absolutely. But the thing about it is, the way what little I understand about it right now is that the families can appeal to federal level, which is a good thing for the victims of the 13th district. Because, you know, that's going to put, you know, and if I can get them to look at Aaron's case, give me that. I'll do it. I believe, you know, a second autopsy, I have no doubt in my mind, will prove that he died from mass, blunt trauma to the head. There was just too much damage. I mean, a ruptured eyeball, you know, the cut, you know, and I've never seen nothing in the autopsy report that described how the back of his neck was. And he didn't have anything that's conducive with hanging. I mean, the hyoid bone wasn't broke, or the soft tissue wasn't, harmed. He didn't have a petechial eye. He didn't have swollen tongue. He didn't have none of that. And plus, he didn't have no rope marks, because I tried to find those rope marks. I thought, maybe I'm, it's just, I'm his mom. I don't want to see them. But the mortician said he couldn't see them either. So, the legalities, there's a lot of stuff happening in the district. The big judge up there actually had the appeals court send a case back to him for lack of evidence. So when we've lost one judge, he was voted out, and plus they somehow brought up some more charges against him that got him suspended for 30 days, which basically finished out his term. So he didn't get to hear any cases. And then one that was running, there's some bad stuff coming out on him. So there's a lot of stuff that's moving and shaking up there that's among the attorneys and the judges, people that's ran for offices. We had it's a family court judge. She, from what I've never had any personal dealings with her, but from what I understand, she's destroyed a lot of families. So she's gone. Maybe we're making some strides in the right direction up there.
Right.
See, you guys have, with the billboard that's up down there, and so many families starting to come public with their cases, you guys are starting to get a lot of attention on the 13th.
Yes, and unfortunately, unless we have some funds come in, the billboard, I think, come down yesterday. We put it up once a month.
Mhm.
And it ran this past week. Courtney Cash's birthday was last Thursday, election day. And Channel 2 was up there a little bit, but it was Courtney's birthday. But there's the Bohannons, still nothing on the cause of death on Josh.
Wow.
I don't buy that for a second. It's been too long.
Right.
I think they're just prolonging, hurting the family worse, making them wait. And that seems to make them happy, to watch the little people suffer. You can go to church on Sunday in your fine clothes, and everybody, for all appearances, you're a good person. God knows what's in your heart.
Right.
I keep praying, that maybe he'll touch some of them to, wake up and just say, hey, enough's enough, and tell things like it is. I don't, only thing I can see, Aaron was an outsider. He had been up in the area for a little while, but technically he was an outsider. And I guess he didn't figure they didn't think anybody would fuss about it. But you've got a couple of cases of people that's out of state. We have no idea how their families feel about any of this. Cause of death was never released publicly. There's nothing out there. Emily, I believe, is Emily Christopher from Ohio or Michigan. We don't know what. Just know she was in Jerry's IGA parking lot in Livingston, found dead. So,
Wow.
They don't give the public information. I know, most people aren't aware of most of these cases. Now, Courtney's and Lauren Agee's received quite a bit of, news play with those. But, even when concrete evidence was brought to Dunaway, he wasn't changing his mind. Didn't matter that somebody had lost their lives. It didn't matter as long is his way or the highway. And that's the way he's treated the families that's went in there to talk to him. It's just like they're dirt under his shoes. And, go ahead.
Do you know how many cases like this are down there in the area? Or how many cases do you know of?
Right now that I know of in the 13th, so far 18, 19.
Wow.
That's
Holy.
And say I'm counting. I've got one. I don't know a lot about it yet, or we don't.
What's Tammy doing?
But if it's what I think it is, it's going to be pretty mind blowing. But I'm not going to talk about something that we're not sure about, and I don't talk about cases that they're not ready to come out with yet. I've got a couple that's ready to come, with the podcast, but you have to let people do it in their own time. I guess I've been raising Cain all along. I guess that's my way to grieve, I guess, or stay busy and not grieve. I don't know which. Or, not lose my temper and do something totally ignorant.
Right.
But the grief's been good for a lot of people.
Good.
And I hope it always stays up. But, it's summertime. So right now we've got a little bit of a lack of support.
Right. Bobby made a comment here. A lot of time when they want to shut a case down on a person is because they have a lead on something to do with the death and don't want the public to know what they have found. Kind of red tape, as you could say. So
There was a gentleman went in to the district attorney's office. The gal that cleaned up the crime scene got drunk and confessed every bit of it, told what she did, told her part, and told that the main two were Russell and Rufus. And the detective looked at him and said, well, that doesn't match what happened. So they don't want evidence. I give them 3 statements. One of them naming Rufus as one of the killers. They never even went out and talked to these people.
Wow.
You all right,
They want-
Tammy? I saw your reaction just now. Are you okay?
it's it's appalling. I mean, this is my home state. This is the state I grew up in. And to know, I know it goes on all the time, but it's just very disheartening. And, they may not answer right this moment, but they will have a day in time when they will answer for any wrongdoing. And
yeah, you're right. If not here on earth, I have, I'm a firm believer in God because I know He's brought me all you guys. He's brought the group. He's opened a lot of doors. Sheila Wasaki and her team. They're an incredible bunch, and definitely way above my means. But they've come in and they've looked at a lot of the cases, and they're still there. And a lot of their team has been great support for me. Jason, I can't thank enough, and Sheila herself, Danielle. I mean, there's some really, really good people in there, and they do care.
Yeah.
But the only way, like I said, I fought by myself 26 months. I couldn't get it done. Finally, a couple of podcasters reached out to me, and it started from there. And finally, Dennis Farrier, came on board with it, and I'll never forget the day he looked. I'd had some photos enlarged of Aaron and of him in his casket, and then hit one of his regular pictures. and I hadn't looked at them. And it was shocking to see how much damage really was done. I mean, you know what? Sometimes there ain't enough makeup in the world to cover up. And you know, you guys have seen the photos. Aaron didn't look like himself, not remotely.
No.
And, I mean, when my daughter saw him, I asked my daughter, I said, "Is that Aaron?" Because the only way I knew him was a tattoo on his ring finger. The damage was it's shocking that. And, you know, when you're looking for rope burns, you're not expecting to see somebody that's supposed to be your child that you don't recognize.
We got a couple of comments here for you, Lisa. Tamara wanted to know what the 13th was exactly.
What do you mean? The 13th? It's the 13th Judicial District of Tennessee. Tennessee's broke down into 31 districts. They're the 13th. There's 7 counties. Say Clay, Overton, not Jackson, Putnam, Pickett, DeKalb, Smith, Cumberland. I think that's all 7 of them.
And then
But
Kate asked, can you tell me how much is needed for the billboard to go back up?
for 1 week, it's $200. And that is through Lamar. We have a GoFundMe for it.
Yeah, we will get
I
that.
wish we could run it all time because Mr. Dunaway has to see it. While it's up, he has to see it. He don't miss it. And that's how we meant for it to be.
Right.
Yeah. We're not going away. One of the main ones that come in with me that's as loudmouth as I am, Cindy Young. She's sick, and now we're worrying about her. She's been looking for justice for Courtney for 8 years, and I believe she's right. I believe the boyfriend. I believe the boyfriend was the real killer, and they've got the wrong man in jail. But everybody has an opinion. But the first one squeals usually gets the deal, and that boy was the first one to squeal.
Right. Another question for you here, Lisa. Is there a way to donate directly to ensure 100% of the proceeds go to the recipient instead of giving GoFundMe the percentage they charge?
Oh, that's a good question. That's an excellent question. Where'd I go here? You could call Lamar Sign Company, I guess.
That's what I was.
And just tell them you want it put on. I think it's. You can get the name of the lady that's over it. Rosemarie something. I can't remember her last name. But her son is one of the victims, Jason Rice. Now that one was crazy. I don't know if you've heard much about it. Jason was run over and killed by a man that had no driver's license, no insurance, was drinking, had minors in the car, is also drinking, and leaving the scene of the accident. Oh, and the dear DA said that leaving the scene of an accident was not a crime in Tennessee.
What?
Oh, yeah. And she said, he was speeding. He was doing this. He said, what do you want me to do? Write him a speeding ticket? Oh.
What were you going to ask, Tammy?
Oh, I was just going to say, make sure we post the location of the sign so there's no discrepancy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there a billboard?
I'll tell you what, I will send you guys the one, she's the one that ordered the sign, and she can tell you guys how to do that. Cindy Young's actually the one that got the sign had it put up. She had dealt with Lamar before.
Mhm.
But I mean, how much does GoFundMe charge anyway?
Yeah,
Because I know you can like give them a little extra, like $5 extra that goes to them, but you don't have to donate to them if you can't.
yeah, I don't know.
That's been I believe I'm right on that. I could be wrong though.
See, it's been so long since I've done one on
Right.
those.
Yeah, we couldn't even tell you. It's been, yeah.
Mhm.
Does
But I
anybody
know
know that
it's-
answer?
10%.
Yeah, Katie just said 10%, I believe.
Okay.
But Jen said we will get it to you. So if you can get the company name to purchase some time, that would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be Lamar.
Lamar. So yeah, that's Lamar, Katie.
Yeah.
Is the billboard a digital billboard or is it a vinyl type billboard?
No, it's a digital.
Is it a digital?
It rolls every one of the photos that's on that board, on the original photo. They will pop up one at a time.
Do we have a photo of that board?
So it is digital. We looked for a property to put our own board up, but there's a lot of places wouldn't let us put it up in that area because they didn't want it. We wanted it downtown at the courthouse, close to the courthouse. They didn't want it down there.
Oh, I imagine not. Yeah.
And the judges in Overton County, for whatever reason, they said they wanted it down. So,
Have you
but
taken a
go
picture?
ahead.
Have you taken a picture of it?
Yes.
We actually have a picture of it, Tammy. We can send it to you.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
thought maybe,
Yeah, and I have pictures of. I can't do it right now. I'm pretty sure though. Pictures of each single one. Their names. I believe their dates they've passed.
It's an amazing billboard too. I mean, it shows their face. It gives a short description. It holds a lot. I mean, this billboard's full of pictures here. We're getting there. Hold on. I know we have.
It's got a lot of attention that they didn't want.
Right, and like Lisa said, you can't miss it. It's there.
No. Yeah,
So,
it's right next to the interstate. You can see it, and then it's in the area where a lot of the restaurants like Longhorn and O'Charlie's and places like that are right there. So everybody sees it.
yeah.
good.
All right. Denny's finally got it up. You want me to? You got it. I don't know how well you can see it, but
Wow.
yeah. Yep.
Everyone but one face on that billboard is out of the 13th district.
Goodness.
Every single one.
And that's only the
And
one.
the one that's not is out of the 15th, which is just a county over from Putnam. So,
Yeah.
all the little area, it's tied together. There's rumors of mafia, drug cartels, heavy rumors, but I haven't really found anything. There's one or two cases that could very well be cartel related, but I just don't. I don't think Aaron's is one of them. But I do know that the people. I mean, they've been dealing drugs there since the 70s and hadn't ever got busted but once. So there's something up. So, there's payoffs somewhere. But I have found out how their payoffs and all that work. It's pretty slick. It really is. Really to catch them, you'd have to catch them red-handed. I mean, in the act is my opinion. But Aaron's, I think that was more so just a problem with Aaron and, you know, a couple of the people that were there, and it just escalated and got out of hand. But Aaron, I don't know. You know, he told me, he said, Mama, if something happens, call Overton County and ask for this detective. He'll tell you what's going on. Aaron
And see,
was given.
what gets me, Lisa, is that your own son said that to you. So obviously something more was going on. And that will always bother me, that he even told you that.
Well, yeah, well, he not only told me, he told one of a guy I used to babysit when he was young. He told him he'd stayed, you know, been a family friend since he was like 3 years old. And he told him, he talked to me on Thursday evening, and Friday evening he went to Bobby's house and told Bobby the same thing. He said, if something happens, you tell my mom and daddy I didn't do it, and to not let it go.
Now, see, you can't sit there and tell me something ain't right. I mean,
No.
seriously.
And see, they, you know, when I spoke to the district attorney, you know, I told him what I had. They wanted me to give them everything. And I'm like, no, I give them 3. And they, you know, in 8 months, they never contacted me and never contacted any of them and asked me to not tell anybody that they were looking at it. They didn't want me to tell anybody because they weren't looking at it.
Wow.
I mean, you've got a detective, you know, we've got another case on the billboard, the same detective's involved in it. And it was one of his friends. He should have recused himself. He's the one that called the cause of death. He had somebody else fill the papers out, but I mean, I know what happened with that one. You guys have, I believe, seen Lisa Bowles' autopsy. Crime scene photos, haven't you?
Yes.
There's no way she's 5 foot maybe, if that, and she was heavy. There's no possible way she could have, the way she was laying, it's just not possible.
No.
A common sense, anybody with common sense can look at things and you can see when things are possible and when they aren't.
Right.
And, you know, like when I went out there and looked at the building where this supposedly happened, that shed, the only thing that was there Aaron could have possibly stepped off of was a brace that separated the stalls of the building, and it was 34 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
Now, if he's got a rope, but you know, we were talking about 16 feet. The portion of the rope I have is approximately 47 inches long. He's 6'6". And what was around his neck could have been no more than probably 20 inches, 20, 22. There wasn't enough rope there for those people to have been able to got to him to cut him down.
No.
They couldn't have reached him.
And
the pictures, the rope never tightened up around the beam. With his weight, it would have cut into that beam.
Right.
I know why they. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if he's trying to commit suicide, that's one hell of an act to do if you're doing it by yourself at that weight, at that height, at that much rope.
With the broken
Right.
With a broken wrist.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
You don't sustain the kind of damage that was done to him in a hanging.
Right.
You don't. Because Aaron was in bad enough shape, they left it up to us whether we wanted to open him or not. And we
What were you
did
gonna
put
say, Alex?
sunglasses.
Sorry.
Okay.
I just have a question. So this barn where this supposedly took place at this home,
I can't hear what he's saying.
Hold on just a second.
this barn where this supposedly took place, I had seen pictures of the barn. Is the barn like next to the side of the house where if somebody drove by, it would look like a detached garage, or was it like behind the house in the woods?
Oh, it's actually you had the house, and there's one of those little like red like barn storage buildings, and then the equipment shed was right next to it. It's like sort of in a line, all of it.
Okay, so
But
I was getting at, you know, if somebody was going to commit suicide, why they would do it out in the point of view of traffic and stuff, or how versus somebody would lie and try to cover something up and try to make it look like that happened. That, that's kind of where I was getting was,
yeah,
situation
exactly.
played out.
Well, no, my understanding of what happened, this is my understanding. Aaron, as soon as his dad dropped him off, his dad saw him. When he turned around, he saw him go in the house. Okay. My understanding, there was a fight broke out in the kitchen. Rufus lost a front tooth. He indeed did lose a front tooth. Aaron went back in the living room where Hack was, and told him, said, Hack, just go ahead and give me my money, and Daddy will be here in a minute, and then I'll just go. And my understanding was Hack laughed at him because they had told Aaron to come back down there around 5 o'clock. Hack had, when he dropped him off, and he said he'd give him his rent money back for the month. Aaron rented a room for him and Karen. Nobody else would let her stay where she would steal everything. So nobody would let her in their houses. And Aaron had the only room in that house that was clean. But my understanding, when Hack laughed at him, Aaron leaned down and looked at him. And I think Aaron may have headbutted him. And Hack went to the floor, and he looked up at Aaron and said, big boy, you effed up. Russell's going to kill you. And hit him once in the back of the head. He went to the floor, went to all fours, and he looked up, and they hit him a second time on the right side of his face. And as far as that was, I guess, when he lost consciousness. But there were 5 of them, packed him to the basement and then out the back door behind the house where nobody could see him.
Picture of the basement. While
the cleaner cleaned up the blood. And I've got actual pictures inside that house. You can see where the floor has faded so much where they'd put so much bleach in it. And when I went out there,
wasn't there a real strong bleach smell to someone?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, when I went in out there Tuesday morning after we'd picked Aaron's things out. And when I first walked in, Hack was an older man. He had a hospital bed right as you walked in the door to the left. And I told him, I said, Hack, if Aaron's got anything here, I want it. And I walked around through the house. He told me I was welcome to. And then I walked back in the hallway, and I guess that's when it hit me, the bleach. My eyes and nose started burning. Erica was back there in the bed. She was dope sick. She wouldn't turn over and she wouldn't look at me. So I had to leave the house where it was so bad. It burned the hair out of your nose. It was so bad. My eyes there's tears running down my face from the bleach. I walked out to the shed, and after I'd been out there a couple of minutes, that's when Russell walked up, asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm looking. I didn't know Russell. I'd known him when he was young. He worked, kept a job, had a wife, and, had a little boy. And, he drank a little bit, but he never done drugs. I didn't recognize Russell. But he asked me why I was looking. I said, well, I said 2 and 2 ain't equaling 4. He said, what do you mean? I said, Aaron didn't hang himself. He just dropped his head. He wouldn't look at me in the eye. And Russell always, all my previous experiences, when he was talking, he would always look you in the eye. He wouldn't look me in the eye no more. He just looked at the ground.
Yeah.
And actually, that's right before he got out there is when I found Aaron's hat. So, I mean, and that was on Tuesday, 3.5 days after, you know, he had died out there. But now they've tore that building down.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to tear the house down next or have a fire sale.
Yeah.
I mean,
Could
he's
you-
had it logged. You know, I don't care to say I can't prove it. I have my suspicions, you know. They were paying people off to not get busted. There's no way around it. You don't go 35, 40 years and get one bust. I don't care what nobody says. You know, the Medellin drug cartel wasn't that lucky, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's payoffs. I don't know how big, but I don't know who to, but there's something going on, or they would, you know, they wouldn't keep getting first offenses every time, you know, first
Right.
offense revoked, first
Right.
offense of driving on suspended. And it's like 7 or 8 times. I mean, sometimes they don't even bother going to court and charges just disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it don't take no Einstein to figure out something's up.
I actually worked for a judge in Louisiana, in the state of Louisiana. And I will tell you, it does happen. And I have seen it before, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th event. And they mark it back down to a 3rd.
Well, now these keep going back to first offense. And my, now, you know, my way of thinking may be wrong, but if you've got first offense, they've got to pay their fines, their court costs, and all that. Okay, they pay that. They get another one, and it's a first offense. Where's the money from this other offense going?
Right.
Right.
It's like it's kind of like truck drivers in their double sets of logbooks. I'm saying there's double sets of books for the courthouse.
Yeah.
That's why that's just the way I would see it. I mean, because how do you explain all these first offenses? Now that's just my way of thinking, and I may be way off, but you know, people are coming out, and we've got the war. I've got a smoking gun. If and when they're ready, they're going to be a lot of people really upset. I mean, really upset.
It's time, though. It's definitely
Yeah,
time.
it is. You know, since Dunaway's been in office, all I can see he's done is hurt people. I mean, they a young man, well, I don't know how old he was, honestly. A police chase that come off the interstate into Cookville city limits, hit and killed a woman and her children. The guy got 30 years under the influence. He told them, you know, he was fleeing. There was a warrant on him, killed him. He got 30 years. I mean, how much of that's he going to serve? Not every day of it. That's all that woman and those 2 little kids' lives were worth. And you know what gets better? And this is where I have a problem. A lot of people in the group know this woman and knew for a fact she'd never done drugs. There was a lawsuit. The lawsuit was dismissed because they said that she had meth in her system. And everybody that knew this woman says there's no way. So, I mean, they're playing, you know, that goes back to the medical examiner, toxicology and stuff. I mean, Tennessee's got a history of corrupt medical examiners, and it seems to be continuing. But I mean, and you got drug dealers that's got 3 kills under their belt for selling bad drugs, and she keeps getting out on paper. The drug dealers up there, it's like a revolving door, and you know it's a big business. Generates cases for attorneys, court costs, probation officers. I mean, it's just a cycle. Everybody's getting paid.
Right.
It's about money. It's not about the law, enforcing the law. It's about money, control, and power. And this DA, no, he stood in open court, said he didn't answer to anybody. He could do anything he wanted to. And so far he has. But, you know, maybe all of us can change it.
Now, the medical examiners there, could you explain again the medical examiner with just needing like the high school diploma, no experience?
County medical, you know, every county has a medical examiner. Sometimes they'll have one that's a doctor, but the only credentials that's required in Tennessee is a high school diploma or equivalent. That means you can have a GED and still apply for it. And no felonies. You don't have any have to have any medical training whatsoever. It goes back to unqualified police officers determining the cause of death. And I mean, if you're going to let them determine the cause of death, well, why don't we just do away with the medical examiners program and, you know, just use police, save taxpayers money? Because to me, and all it is they're backing up corrupt officers' lies. That's all they're doing. Yeah. And, you know, Harlan, you know, you've had so many cases that man was involved in. He even testified as an expert witness in cases. And then he's corrupt. I mean, botched many cases. The one that done Aaron's case, there's been lawsuits filed against him. And from what we can see, Aaron wasn't on the autopsy table but 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's just great.
They never done a body temperature at the scene. The paramedic got there before the police officers did, put a monitor on him. He had a slow PEA, pulled it off. She got back in the ambulance and left. She wasn't supposed to have left that body. You know, none of them follows protocol in that county. That's just the way it is. You have police officers that have no training, that have been grandfathered in. Some of them, I mean, like from dispatcher, and put them out in a patrol car. There's more than one of them in different counties. So they don't. This little district, it's like its own little country with its own little laws, and the federal law don't seem to bother them. So. You know, that's the kind of system we're fighting up there. You know, they've got a good little racket going, a real good little racket.
Right.
And, but it's at the taxpayer. You know, a lot of people, you know, today in time, everybody works hard. When they do get off, they try to rest. Some people may never even turn the TV on. They may not even get out of the house other than go to the drive-thru to get something to eat and never know about what's going on in their area. I had a state representative tell me that they weren't manufacturing drugs up there and hadn't been in 10 years. And I told him he needed to pull his head out of his ass and look around.
Gosh.
I mean,
Lisa puts it to you. She ain't got a problem with that, and I love her for that.
No, Yeah, you know, if it's a spade, it's a spade. That's the way it is.
Right.
I don't sit in judgment of nobody, but you know, you're only as good as your word. And one of the judges in the district I went to school with, and he's undoubtedly one of the lyingest human beings I've ever met in my life. And, you know, and these people weren't raised that way. It's just, but everybody, it's like it's, you know, nobody gets enough. Life doesn't matter. No matter who gets hurt, they get killed in the process, you know, it's somebody else's loss. It's not ours. But they've let it get so far out of control that it's not about when somebody if somebody becomes a victim, like on that billboard, it's when, because they break in homes, they kill the elderly. You know, the recidivism rate up there is 47.1%. That's higher than the national average. And the crime rate, what do you call, I'm not sure what you call, you know, for like murders and stuff like that, it's way above national average.
Right. What were you going to say, Alex?
Well, I had a question. So with all this stuff going on, with all these cases, you know, the accusations of corruption and stuff like that, does any of the news media, do they do any type of work with you all, or are they
only one station, Dennis Farrier, News 17. The rest of them are not going to report anything negative about these people. If you've watched the interview with Farrier and his response at the end of the interview I had with Dennis, he said that Dennis was the only reporter he had any problems with.
You know, I wonder if it's a payroll thing in a way. If you think about it, like, you know, if you keep quiet, will help. You know,
I actually had a news reporter reach out to me from New York, and I told him, I said, I can't get nobody in Tennessee to touch it. And he told me, he said, let me call you back. I said, okay. And he said, you won't get nobody to touch it. He said, there's too much money changing hands. He said, and they don't want Aaron Keyes in the news, period. So, you know, and I can't even remember he was the guy that like booked the stories for the reporter, the guy I talked to, Martha something out of New York. I actually called the station and spoke to him to make sure he was real. I didn't trust nobody.
Tony asked, is News 17 a Fox affiliate?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay.
You know, we're just, if enough of, I believe if it ever hits a national, you know, a nationwide thing, I believe that a lot of things will start happening real fast. As it is, you know, they just seem to think, well, just people in Tennessee. But it goes higher than the 13th district because we have a guy in there he's got documented proof of them trying to, I'm trying to use the right words, that there's collusion in making certain cases disappear. And I mean, his is documented. He's wrote the legislature, the Senate. I mean, it's on it hard. And the guy that they're protecting is an indicted federal drug dealer.
Oh my gosh.
So, and they're trying to get this. He owns a club in Nashville, Tennessee, a very private club. Wow. You know, we've heard of swingers parties, but it wasn't exactly swingers, but sort of similar. Underage kids. I don't know. I haven't been able to substantiate it, not to the point of where I'd accuse anybody of it.
Right.
But
Goodness.
usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
But we've got. It's a shame, like I said, the Bohannons still, they're hanging in limbo. They shouldn't be. It's like he enjoys prolonging the agony. And then you've got a sheriff. He's been a big problem with the Bohannons. That and his he banned that family from the police department. And Hillary Poindexter, Eric Hammock, and there was another lady.
How,
And I mean, banned them. How do you ban people from a taxpayer-built facility that haven't? All they're wanting to do is find out if there's anything new on a case.
I was just saying that to Denny. I looked at him and I said, "How do you ban someone from something like that? How?"
It's not legal. And soon as he got called on it, their attorneys said that it wasn't an actual ban list. And, we all have screenshots of it taped on the wall in the department.
Yeah.
They even put their badge number on it. It says ban list on it. So, I mean, they just think they can crawl around and erase something. As far as the letter with Aaron, I think I think there's a very good possibility they backdated that and shoved it in there, because Overton County never mentioned once, nobody did, that Aaron's case was closed. I mean, why weren't we notified? We never received that letter that they sent. That letter.
I am so sorry, Lisa. Go ahead and finish your comment, honey. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I've done lost train of thought. It's good.
That's okay. I am sorry. We do have another comment for you, though. This is from Joanne. I can't understand why the ambulance personnel didn't try to administrate. How do you say that word?
Administrating.
I'm not sure how to say that, Joanne, without really butchering it.
Epinephrine?
There it
Yeah.
is. Thank you, Alex. And doing CPR when it was determined he was in a PEA rhythm, because that is the standard first line treatment.
Exactly. But this woman, I have her name, I have a picture of her, goes out to known drug houses and will not try to help anybody that she thinks is involved in drugs.
Don't they have to take an oath?
See, oaths don't. Oaths, they all take oaths. They don't seem to matter too much up there. I hope I don't never meet her on the street.
Yeah,
I don't figure they'll let me make it out of jail.
We'll come get you, Lisa. Don't worry. We'll come get you.
They probably shoot me a bond for hitting somebody, be $1 million.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they try to get one I couldn't make. And, they had another, we have in Overton County, the suicides by hanging. You have ODs. They had another one recently, and I know who it was, but they're trying to make sure nobody did. But I found out within a couple of hours. All I got to do is make a few phone calls. I may be a long way away, but I got a lot of listening devices. But you got lawsuits. One guy was actually crushed in front of the cameras in Overton County Jail. There's a big lawsuit over it. There's numerous lawsuits in the district. The sheriff order of White County, he had issued a use deadly force on an unarmed man They were in a 35-mile-per-hour car chase through 2 counties. 35 miles an hour. They round this
Seriously.
man finally, and they shoot him and kill him. And it ended up they shot the wrong man.
Oh my God.
Dead. And the DA stood beside it, said it was a good call. No charges. Missing $27,000 in Livingston. They didn't go after the chief, the people that supposedly borrowed the money and paid it back. They weren't fired. They were transferred. The police chief didn't lose his job. He did end up resigning. There's just too much. I mean, there's too much. And this is all in one district, and everybody covers for everybody. And anything, I don't care what any officer does, they stand beside it. The only way they're not going to, the DA won't stand beside it is if it comes up federal. Then he ain't got a say in it. So.
Oh,
And Joanne mentioned 3 guys who have been trying to help bring the corruption to light: Byron, Jerry, and Eric. And yes, those 3 guys, it's been incredible the work they've been doing on this.
I know an Eric.
well, Eric Hammond.
Hammock, yes.
Okay. You
The
got
other-
Brian- I don't know.
The
his
other
name.
2, I don't know.
Now, Brian actually reached out to me and shared some information he's been finding on many of the cases out there. And
I do know him too.
he's been doing
Yes.
what he thinks incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, he has got a lot of documents he sent me, and it's
Hammock.
they dropped the ball when they let him into the DA's office and let him go through stuff. I mean, he dropped it big, but I don't know that they didn't think he had the intelligence to know what he was looking for, but they underestimated him. They really did. I mean,
Jen
he's
made a
even.
Jen made the comment real quick. It's so sick and makes no sense. Our United States of America is allowing this to happen. Tell me about it. 100% agree.
Well, it's. I had a young lady reach out from Texas to me, and virtually the same thing with Aaron. It was a hanging, but it wasn't a hanging. So I mean, we've got a lot of problems happening in the country, and I'm beginning to wonder if it's I have my own little theory, and I'm just waiting to see if it happens, and I pray I'm wrong, but I believe a lot of it, when they started defund the police, you pissed a lot of police officers off. Hey, they don't care about us, we don't care about them. And that's
Right.
about the attitude I'm thinking it's going with. And country can't go without police. I mean,
No.
we got bad ones. There's always good and bad in every crowd, but the law is the law. But when you've got, you get 1 or 2 bad ones, they make all of them look bad. And I respect the law. I've always looked up to them for what they've done, what they do. They don't get paid enough, but in this area, these folks do. They manage money really, really well. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Right.
I love to take lessons from them. Because
We actually got a pretty good comment on here, Lisa. Jerry was a friend of Joshua Bohannon's.
Seeing
okay, I know who Jerry is.
because we worked together on that case.
Yeah. Let's see.
Jerry.
Amazing officers.
Yeah.
Jerry has been he's an incredible human being. He's caught a lot of shit for being so vocal as he has. He's been, you know, he knows the drug world. Back years ago, I did. 30 years ago, it sure changed. We didn't kill people back when I was snorting a little. But, I mean, there's no, you know, I'll own, if you're not big enough to own what you've done, don't do it if you're ashamed of it. And, you know, that's the reason a lot of the people has reached out to me. But, you know, when you think, a lot of people out there think when they're doing drugs, they're not hurting anybody, but they are. They are. They hurt their family, you know, you make them worry. And you can't never apologize enough for that. But now, and, you know, these people are selling bad dope and they're selling it intentionally. They're using, I mean, they're even using stuff that you can buy at vet centers to put in with these drugs. And what they do, it starts with a K. KBR or something. It's a veterinary, it's a tranquilizer or something for an animal. They're putting it in these drugs in this district. It's, I mean, and then you've got the wasp dope. They're selling straight wasp spray for meth. That's, I mean, a shoot's body temperature so high, you know, some people it's all right, but what it does to the brain is crazy. And people don't understand, you know, they've got a habit real bad and they'll take anything and it's costing people's lives. And
it's ketamine. I hope I'm saying that right, Katie. Ketamine is
ketamine.
Ketamine. Okay. Thank you, Katie.
They use that. God, I can't. It starts with a K. It's got a dash. Yeah. BR something. I can't remember what it was, but the vets are basically, well, they told me the name of the clinic that was basically giving the stuff away. And actually, one of the guys that was there when Aaron died, I've always been told that he had been drugged. And this guy actually keeps it. And actually went after a friend of mine's horse. He had sex with my friend's horse. So this stuff makes them do some sick stuff, you know. And but for whatever reason, they don't want this particular guy's name out there. I've got messages, you know, from profiles, be wiser. Now, you know my response to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I wouldn't get the name, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, and for whatever reason, this guy, they don't want his name mentioned. And took me 30 months to get a photo of him.
But she didn't give up. She kept
going.
No,
I got it. People wonder how I get a lot I get, but, you know, people get tired. And when it gets close, you know, you've got a person that ODs or something, it hits home. You know, hey, you know, she's got a point.
When it finally
you know, all I wanted was Aaron's death certificate changed. I wasn't about suing nobody. I just wanted it changed for his kids where I could go on and get over it.
God love her.
But that inhumane, I'll be nice. Inhumane, he's an inhumane, power-hungry human being. We've never met face to face, and I thank God we hadn't. After the way he talked to Ken and Cindy Young, Sherry Smith and her husband, it wouldn't be good. I'm not that good at containing mine. and I haven't found many that can slow me down.
Right, right.
But, it's anybody that gets it seems like they're getting off on watching people hurt and increasing the hurt. Jerry knows what the Bohannons has been through. Actually, I believe Jerry was on the ban list too.
Yeah.
But
Gosh.
it's they're inhumane. There's nothing there about them that says they have a heart or a soul. Like I said, all I wanted was Aaron's death certificate changed for his kids. Though those babies deserve to know their daddy didn't leave by his own hand. Reality is there's people that's never charged in cases, but they could at least have the right death ruling. He can't even give 2 kids that.
How are the kids, Lisa? How are they holding up?
Growing. His son, 13 years old and 5'10".
Oh my goodness.
Aaron wasn't that tall at that age. The little girl, she looks just like her daddy. Both of them favor their daddy. Both of them, they're extremely smart. They've got a great mother.
An amazing grandmother.
They've got a grandmother that's hard-headed. When she's right, she's gonna keep moving.
That's right. That's right.
Daddy always told me, he said, if you know you're right, fight. If you have to stand alone. That's what I've done for a while, but now I've got a whole lot of people that they've come in, they've stood together, and that's what it takes, because there's strength in numbers. But like I said, summertime, it's faded a little bit, but we ain't going nowhere. We're here for the new ones that come in. If we're lucky enough to get one face to come off that board, then we'll put another one up there with them.
See,
it's a thing that needs to stay, because everybody's accountable. We're accountable. If we break the law, the people that judges, lawyers, officers, a lot of officers don't even know about when they break a person's civil rights. There's a lack of training in certain areas. But now, when you take a police officer off of a dispatch job and put a badge on him and give him a gun and say, "You're a deputy," that don't make good sense to me.
No.
Because I actually know of one guy. God, he got picked on in school. It was pitiful. He got a badge. First thing he done was shot the one.
Nice. Katie has a comment for you, Miss Lisa. Bless you for having such a wonderful heart and keeping it real. Fighting the good fight. That helps get attention. I'll help spread the word and get that billboard up for a week to start.
Oh, thank you so much.
And that is from Katie.
That means everything. It really does. I will send you guys the who to call it, Lamar. I know it's a lady named Christy. The good fight. Sometimes that gets hard. But Aaron had kids. It changes the whole circumstances, it has to be done the right way for them. And me, I can live with whatever decision I'd made. I was raised an eye for an eye. And if they don't start holding these people accountable, it's going to go back to that, because whether people like it or not, there's still hillbilly justice.
Yep,
And,
I hear that. Oh my goodness, yes.
uh,
And that's something that's
if
been
my
so
daddy was
amazing.
still alive, they wouldn't have made it till daylight.
Yeah.
Right.
But
hear
sometimes circumstances change, times change, and we have to do what's best for the greater good for a greater amount of people. And I've got no lie to tell you, I've never met any of the people involved in my son's case, but Derek Sidwell and Randall Slayton. I have no respect. And Derek passed away last September. He was the lead detective. Karma can be ugly. You know, Hack passed away. There's a lot of them got busted on drug charges since then. But I have no respect, no use for them. They wear a badge, but they don't represent the good side of it.
Just
In
makes
my
you sick
opinion.
to your stomach to think that, you know, I'm not from Tennessee, but Tammy, this question's for you. How is this all making you feel now that you're hearing more and more of what Lisa is saying?
Well, like I said earlier, it's very, very disheartening because Tennessee is my home.
I always said it was mine. Raised in Salina, Clay County. Oh God, I was so lucky. I was blessed. People loved each other. They did right. And I'm sure there was moonshine steals and stuff like that. You know, as a child, I didn't know anything about. But people have their fist fights, and they live to fight again. You know, the value of life, the human life, is just diminished.
There's
You know, you've got that district is full of missing people. You know, and you got to, you know, there's sex trafficking, there's child sex trafficking, but you know, the human body, the organs are worth a fortune on the market, and it's sad. You know, a lot of it goes to that. But the sex trafficking is that is a big problem in the area.
It's here too.
And after Aaron was asked by a deputy and Russell Cox to kidnap 9 and 10-year-old girls out of Nashville, I thought he was kidding when he asked me what to do. I said, call the law. He said, Mama, one of them is the law. And I knew he was in trouble then. I knew he was in trouble then. And, you know, I begged him to come to me, and actually sent him money for a bus ticket, and he never showed up. But Aaron he couldn't let people, you know, they're selling the bad dope. He'd run out and tell people what they was fixing to try to sell them. And they'd even rob people's cars while they was in the house buying drugs or getting high. They'd have the kids out there ripping these people's cars off, you know. There's just a lot of things that, you know, things that have come out that about, you know, Russell's son, you know, him being molested, and everybody knew it. I mean, when all you see is ugly, then it's hard for you not to do ugly too. And I mean, a lot of people that have talked to me. I mean, they're dying like flies up there. But you know, that place, the only time I will ever be back is when they bury me, and it's not home anymore. It's not the place I left. Few of the people are there, but things have changed. You know, there's no way to make a living. People end up selling drugs.
Yeah.
They're trying to survive, and the old money is what's not letting new industry come in and give these families a chance. You know, where they don't have to do drugs. You know, there's something out there other than that.
Yeah.
And until they stop the drugs, I don't see it changing. I really don't. I mean, you know, if the government wanted the drugs shut down, they'd be shut down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, the fentanyl thing, if it ever gets in their water supply, we're history. That's it. You know, there's no way around it. But dealers are selling it and know what they're selling and don't care. That's what gets me is I wouldn't do something like that. I wouldn't do that to Dunaway or any of the people that killed my son. I would not do that.
Right.
You know, God, you know, they've got to pay for what they do.
Sure do.
Ultimately to God. And I'd hate to be in some of these folks' shoes. I really would. But there have been, you know, like Eric and Brian and Jerry, these are some amazing, outspoken people. They really are. They got a big mouth as I got.
See, and Lisa, one of the things that draws me to you, I guess, so to speak, is everything that you have gone through and are going through with Aaron's case, fighting that daily, and yet everything you are doing to help these other families with their cases. You've just been an inspiration. You're one of the strongest people I have ever talked to. I mean, you're just an incredible person. We need more people like you.
I'm just a mama.
That's right.
That's right. Wrong's wrong. I don't care who's doing it. You know, there's none of us perfect.
Right.
You know, we're born sinners. That's just it. But I don't. You know, I just had enough sense to try to get some people together, and they were ready to be together. And you know, one of us can't do it alone.
You know, it
You
just
know,
breaks my heart that this had to happen for someone to finally stand up and say something. It just kills me that this is the way it had to be.
That photos on the billboard.
The way I see it, I'm finishing what God's meant for Aaron to do, and I will finish it. As long as there's breath in my body, I will finish.
You have a lot of people in your corner because of you standing up and taking a stand.
If you can't stand up for what's right and what you believe in, then you don't really believe in it.
Right.
That's right.
And I believe in my heart, and you know, some people take offense to it, and that's okay. But I believe when they took God out of the courthouses and out of the schools, we've been on the downhill slide ever since.
You're absolutely right.
And you got evil video games and movies, or everything's bloodthirsty. It's about killing. And a lot of people don't get that, you know, it's a way, I mean, like telling us about aliens and stuff. About 60 years ago when I was growing up, we had the Jetsons. And,
Yeah.
and yeah, little shows like that, you know. But, you know, we didn't think that was ever humanly possible. And they had these little things they talked on, you know, back and forth. We got cell phones, you know. It was so, in a way, to me, it looks like they started that way back then to prepare us for what's coming in the future. And if you step back and look at how violence has progressed, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I saw that and I was in my 20s. I wouldn't go outside after dark. And, you know,
I don't blame
it's
you.
just, and now, and to see how much further it's went from then to now. I mean, when I went to high school, every high school boy that had a pickup had guns hanging in the back glass. You know, we didn't have no school shootings. You see a lot of fist fights maybe, but you didn't see those school shootings.
No.
But it's you can see it's progressively gotten worse. Tennessee with the Bill Lee passing bills that protect police officers, district attorney. You know, you can't prosecute the DA anywhere in the U.S. For messing up a crime on purpose. I mean, a case or refusing to prosecute it. There's no accountability for them. God, I've learned more than I ever wanted to know.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest problem. People need to become informed. Go to these town meetings, ask questions, and demand answers. You know, the night Aaron died, I had a friend make a call to Clay County. And Aaron was still on the ground up there. I guess it was somewhere around 7:30, about 7:30. And it had already made it all the way into town, what had happened. But they said it was a drug deal gone bad. Now that's how fast this stuff moves up there. It's a circle. Every drug dealer knows every drug dealer. Every junkie knows every junkie or every other dealer. So it's a vicious circle. One goes down for a minute, takes a minor charge. You know, I'll go over here to this other one. And they know who they are. I mean, the gal that cleaned up the crime scene, she goes across the state line to Alabama, gets Subutex, brings it back in Tennessee and sells it for $50 a piece. You know.
I have no idea.
That, Lisa.
Yeah. I mean, it's real profitable. And she got busted. And the police department didn't even bother calling this place and telling them.
What exactly is that? What you just said, the whatever that was. What is
that? There's Suboxone and Subutex. Suboxone, they help you get off drugs, but in the same token, they're also very addictive too, from what I understand.
Kind of like methadone in a way.
Yes. Okay. Suboxone, you can't drink with it, can't do drugs with it. It makes you, from what I understand, violently sick. Now Subutex, you can only get it in Tennessee if you're pregnant or you're allergic to it, and you have to prove that. So when you cross the state line and get a drug that you can get in your state, it becomes a felony. Ooh. And some of the people that are doing it, actually TennCare is paying for it, for them to get that medicine.
Wow.
Yeah.
The list is long. I mean, I've got a long list of people that were going to this clinic. I'm not about hurting other people, but I understand that times is hard, but then you have these few, I'm not going to say few because I'd be cutting it low, that are too lazy to get a job.
Mhm.
So they want the easy way out, have nice things. Drugs is the way to do it.
Absolutely. Unfortunately.
Well, but I've learned a lot about what goes on up there. Most of it, I could care less, but it all leads back to law enforcement not enforcing the laws, the DA not prosecuting like they should. Yeah, it'll take a little bit of time to investigate these cases, but that's what they get paid to do.
Yep.
If you don't want to do the job, don't take it. They're
you.
underpaid. Law enforcement are underpaid. There's no two ways about that.
Yes.
They need more pay.
For what they do
But-
and what they have to put up with, absolutely.
Yes, they do. And the good ones, I know there's good ones in Overton County. I know there's good ones all over that district up there. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But that place, with the lack of jobs and stuff, these people have to put food on the table for their families. So they have to go along to get along. And I figure one day there'll be one of them have enough of it and say, decide, hey, I'm selling out on my beliefs. And they'll stand up. But until that, we got to keep praying until that day and keep pushing. Because when one of them falls, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to get ugly quick.
Oh, yeah.
Real ugly.
Real quick.
And there'll probably be people that will go down that were actually innocent in it. And that bothers me because I don't want to see anybody innocent hurt.
Right.
But,
Right.
they like passing the buck, hey, if I'm going, they're going with me. And that's the mentality of a lot of people today. They make one mistake or let one person go and somebody finds out about it. It's held over their heads, But I believe it's at an officer's discretion, when to let some little minor something go. And, you've got good people that make some bad choices sometimes, and they learn their lesson and they move on and they become very productive in life. And then you have those that love the adrenaline rush that comes with thinking about being caught selling drugs, about having people beg you for them and stuff like that. It's a control issue. And that when it gets to where control is more important than the human being in front of you, you've lost you as a person. No heart, no soul.
Agreed.
But for every action there's a reaction. And we've just got a lot of officials that don't realize that there's going to be consequences for their actions. And with enough of us together, we can make sure of it.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
But
What's her name? Let's see. Talking about
Yeah.
this. Kate.
Which one, Tammy?
Kate 88.
Katie, yeah.
Praying and pushing is right, and it helps gain soldiers for the good fight.
That's right.
well, we need soldiers. Need a lot of them. But we need national exposure.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just not Tennessee, but the thing about Tennessee is Tennessee has always been considered the volunteer state, you know, and it's anything but that now. You know, we're labeled as the most corrupt state in America. This district proves that to be a fact. And the worst part of it, so far that we can see, is from Nashville eastward. There's some cases over in West Tennessee, and there's one case. I doubt the lady in East Tennessee will ever speak on it again, because there've been a few podcasters, I mean, just literally tore this lady apart, and she lost her son, and she don't even know that her son was in the casket that they buried. The sheriff ordered the casket sealed shut. How does the sheriff do that?
Yeah, that broke me when I heard about that. I literally was dumbfounded.
Where does he get that kind of authority? I mean,
Right.
I mean, sheriffs, they do have a lot of authority, but where do you get the authority to keep a family from saying goodbye to their loved one?
Oh my God.
I don't get that has been the most perplexing one. You know, I know where Aaron's at. Although, you know, I've had messages of people going to steal his body. Now, see, they want to open up hellfire.
Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do it. You know, I don't want to have a second autopsy. They could do the right thing, save us from having to bury him a second time. But I'll do what I've got to do. You know, I don't know. I don't have the money for it. I've got a GoFundMe for it. But it hadn't done well. But you look at the times, you know, everybody's scared. You know, they don't know what the future holds. We can't even trust our own government right now. And, you know, people are trying to hold on to what they've got, and I understand. I really do. So I keep hoping for an out-of-state pro bono attorney and pathologist and some people that'll do a second autopsy. And I believe God will bring it. I really do.
You can't.
Hey, Alex, real quick, what is your thoughts on all this, bud? What do you think about all this?
You know, I've been pretty quiet tonight.
Everybody's noticed.
I know there's some people who made some comments.
Bobby especially. Bobby's throwing a fit over here.
I know. Well, you know, first thing, I'm sorry, Lisa, for what has happened. I truly am. Bottom of my heart. You know, I'm just listening here, and I'm trying to just take everything in, you know, because, you know, I had never been to Tennessee till I met Tammy, and we went, you know, back where she's from and been to the Smoky Mountains. And when all this started coming out, and I've been, you know, when I became friends with you all and started listening to the show, and then I heard Aaron's case, I was just totally like, what the heck, you know? I couldn't believe it. And the more, you know, especially tonight, just sitting here and taking it in firsthand, you know, and I've been listening, and I'm just, it saddens me. It saddens me that there's this much crap going on, you know, and, you know, we know stuff goes on all over. We all know things happen. We know things happen, and, you know, there's so many words I can use for it. It really saddens me, you know, and, you know, I'm willing to do whatever I can to help her, you know, just, you know, with the rest of the group, and keep, you know, make sure it never disappears out of the public's eye.
That's the important thing. It really is. Because we need all the help we can get. You know, You know, when I started, you know, you feel like you're the only one that's lost somebody this way. And when I seen there was so many in the place where I loved, no words can describe it, because Aaron died 10 minutes from where he was born, where I was raised. And to see, you know, something, I mean, I don't understand how it happened. I just know how the people was, how they loved each other, sense of community. And it's not there. It's my mom and dad's buried in Salina. It ain't home. It's just I played ball there, all over Kentucky, all over that area.
You played softball?
Oh yeah, I'm a ball freak.
I did.
Yeah, it's like softball, basketball, volleyball, pool. I loved it. Oh, I loved it all. But you know, people think, and I was one. I'm guilty. Think that no matter how close you hold your kids to you, how close you are to them, that this can't happen to you. Don't fool yourself. It can. There's none of us ever dreamed it could happen. You know, Courtney and Joshua, and
All these
there's just so
families everywhere.
much. Jason Rice, and you know, Caitlin Ledbetter. They're not saying, we haven't heard anything about Caitlin Ledbetter. And the little girl just walked off in the woods and poof, be gone.
Yeah.
They know what happened. The dad got ties to all the drug dealers up there. You know, some of the major manufacturers. You know, that's the reason he wasn't charged. I mean, his girlfriend burns up in the house. And the rumors that first come out, the woman in the basement was chained to a wall, you know. And then they didn't want nobody hearing that. So, and actually that came from a firefighter. You know, there's just, it's too much. It's too much. That little girl's 25 years old. Aaron she come running in where Aaron was at one night next door, and was screaming and crying and said, "Don't let him get me! Don't let him get me!" And her daddy come in, and she is standing behind Aaron and said, "Don't let him get me!" And he said, "I'm taking her home," and Aaron said, "No, you're not taking her anywhere." He didn't let her go. So there's just so much to some of these stories that can't be put out. And but it's sad. And in Turkey Town, you know, there's been 6 suicides down on that ridge. Supposed suicides. Wasn't but one of them a real suicide. And that was 15 hours before Aaron died. But nobody had cared. Nobody'd stand up and, you know, say, "Hey, wait a minute. You know, something's wrong." And when I found out how wrong it really was, I was way over my head, you know, way over it.
Well,
But
definitely changed in the way that I think things are happening these days. I think just, you know, a perfect example was the situation where even back when I was in high school, you know, where I went to school, you know, there was kids that had trucks with guns in the back, you know, and it was a very common thing.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
You can't tell me that kids did not get mad and upset, threaten to kill somebody because because they talked to somebody else's girlfriend, they stole somebody's lunch, you know, this
Exactly.
but was it ever happening? Did anybody go out and get their gun out of the back window of their truck and go into the school and start shooting? No, they didn't. You know, just the way people generally talk to people these days. You know, it's not like it used to be. There's no courtesy. There's
Respect.
no
That's
respect.
right.
Right.
You know,
It goes back to how you're raised. I mean, people raised in big cities are raised, there's a very fast paced life in big cities. I couldn't wait to get out of Clay County. I always said I was leaving. But there was, I mean, girls fighting, guys fighting. It was there in school.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
there wasn't no cutting, there wasn't no shooting, and it's back to teaching. You love one another. I mean, you may fight. Well, brothers and sisters fight. Oh my God, they'll fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they still love each other. And you have Hatfields and the McCoys. You see where that ended up. I mean, that
Right.
went on for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But they wasn't killing each other in them little log cabins at school with the wood stoves.
That's right.
Well,
It's just not teaching the value of human life.
That's it.
To respect each other, and you have to be able to sometimes agree to disagree, because we're all not the same. We'll never have the same exact points of view, and that's where well, you're going to do it my way or you ain't. Now, say you're not going to shove nothing down my throat.
Right.
And
Right.
see, that's what the ADA tried to. He told me I had no choice in accepting whatever he decided. And what I decided, he wouldn't want to know.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he didn't talk to me with any compassion, any caring. It was my way. Him and Dunaway are the same. My way or the highway. You ain't got no choice. And like I told him, we all got choices in life. Sometimes they're a little harder,
Right.
take a little longer, but
Right.
we've always got choices. And
What were you going to say, Alex?
a perfect example of things that I personally believe has changed in society is when I grew up, and I've had this discussion with some people before, and it's kind of turned into a little heated argument. My mom and dad was not my best friends. They were my mom and dad.
bingo.
I respected what my mom and dad said, and I took it very serious, because, you're brought up that, your mother and father is the ones who teach you, who lead you, and then you have your grandparents, and then you have God. You have Jesus. You have all this. You have this hierarchy of how you're supposed to operate in life and how you are. And I truly believe that there's just so much has changed these days where people are not the same. There's too many kids that their mom and dads are their best friends, that.
Oh my God, you're so right.
And I just don't believe that it's one thing to be good friends with your parents. You should be able to go to your parents and tell your parents anything. But there's other things that I've known kids that, that have done with their parents and do things. And I just don't believe that should be happening. I believe that you should respect your parents. And if you respect your parents and you take everything that they tell you in life, whether you think it's wrong or right, you should still respect them as your parents and your elders. And I believe that will go a long ways in life as children becoming young adults and then growing into, members of society who will actually be something in society, and be able to teach other people,
Right.
and that's just how I've always thought. But there's something's wrong.
I totally agree with you.
There's too many things that have happened. There's too many, and if you listen to the show, I've been working on a little project with missing children and stuff, and I've started uncovering some stuff, and we're going to have I think if it all comes out the way it is, we're going to have some crazy information, and we're going to have more than a 2-hour live episode one.
Right.
Because something is happening, and something has really started happening in this last year, and it's scary, but what does it come down to? Is it come down to that these young kids are not listening to these parents anymore? Is these young kids as parents, did they not listen to their parents? There's just something going on. There's just something really odd that's changed in society. Do people hold the doors open for other people?
No.
Not anymore. The majority of the time, Tammy can, say proof to this. I still respect every person. I usually say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Respect women, call them dear. You show gratitude, you show this and that. The average people, the old people do, but a lot of people don't anymore. Why? What happened? What happened in society that things changed?
Social media, for one. Absolutely. I can tell in my own kids. Every now and then I'll see what I did, how I raised them, and then I'll see the social media side of them.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's where I lay a lot of it on, is social media and what they see on what their friends are doing or what they see on TV. That is a big problem with me.
I agree.
What do you think,
I
Vinny?
agree.
Same? Yeah. I think a lot has to do with social media.
But your husband, I think Alex, I think he hit the nail on the head. When all my dad had to do was look at me, and I knew to sit down and shut my mouth up. You didn't back talk him, or you'd be wearing your teeth on the back side of your head.
Right.
But you've got Xboxes, social media, raising children. People work.
Yes.
You got 2-parent working households. You don't have the Sunday dinners, the family time, the bonding time.
You're right.
And
nobody does that anymore. They don't have time.
And Alex hit the nail on the head. I do believe. I couldn't have said it no better. It's perfect.
I mean, me growing up, I know some people know because we've discussed it here and there, but my mother passed away when I was 18, and my father passed away when I was 39. So both my parents were gone by the time I was 40. But growing up, we were pretty good kids, me and my brother. I got a whooping one time, and I got the point across after that one whooping to behave, do what you're told when you're told to do it, and there won't be any issues. I mean,
how many times have I heard that?
I lost mine both before I was 20, and then tried to raise a 16-year-old sister.
Oh,
that was a trip. But I'm dumbfounded. I believe, Alex, it's a lack of family interaction and bonding.
Yes.
And, a close-knit family, they love hard. My kids were very, very close. And you said it perfectly. Because, my kids, Aaron loved deeper than any human I've ever seen. If you look at pictures of him with kids, you can see the love for that child, the want to protect that child. And that's the way they were raised, respect their elders. And yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, not let people get picked on. Aaron wouldn't have that. I just can't. I'm still sitting here thinking about how well you said that. And I'm not saying parents aren't good parents today, but
No,
they don't understand.
What'd you say? Tamara?
Well, I've got somebody here. Oh, they don't understand that that time with those kids is important,
it is.
and
And both
it
mothers.
forms who the kids are. It really does. Well, God, Alex, I got to thank you for that one.
Well, I just, I've talked to some people in the past, and they've said, "Oh, my dad or my mom was my best friends," and blah blah blah. And I guess it's just different time periods. Maybe it was
Yeah.
the way you were raised, but I could have always gone to my mom and dad and asked them a question, or I might have been shy, I might have been scared, but I still could go to them and tell them something, or ask them a question or something. But I've just seen too many situations where you see people out to dinner, and the way they're talking or they're doing something, and you look at these people and you think that this girl is with her older sister, and then you find out that it's her mother, and the way they're talking, the way they're interacting, and it blows your mind. And I'm not judging anybody. It's not a judgment thing by any means. It's just there's something different, something changed.
It did.
I really, we typically have Sunday dinner every Sunday. We tend to be a pretty close family with stuff that we do. We definitely have Christmases. We have big Thanksgiving dinners. Big Christmas dinners. We try to hold that family values, because that's how I was raised.
Family traditions.
Yep.
And I think, people sitting around the dinner table, that's something that's slowly disappearing,
It is. It really is.
It's sad, because maybe sitting around the dinner table with your family could possibly save somebody's life.
Yeah.
It can.
If he would just talk about a situation that something's bothering them, or something like that. Maybe it's just one person giving some information, giving their opinion that might make somebody think differently about, well, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't get myself in that situation. Maybe I should ask for help. Maybe I should go to the authorities and tell them what I know. There always could be some way or some form of something that, could greatly change the outcome of a situation.
You're right. You're totally right. But guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I will get you the information from Cindy about the sign. Actually, I'll get it as soon as we get off here. I appreciate you all. We all do. Our army it's growing. Just hopefully, I believe if we ever get one case, I believe the rest of them will come right behind it, because they're all under the same man.
And I think that's why the answers on Joshua Bohannon's case hasn't come out, is because it's going to crack a lot more than just his.
Josh's case, I still, for the life of me, I can't understand, why they're making the family suffer. Because I mean, that report has to be back. There's no way it isn't. But, I had to call the state of Tennessee. They never, up there, they never offered us one. And they called and asked them if we could have it. So, I mean, if they call the state of Tennessee and ask, if they call them his office and ask for the report, they can pretty much well find out if it's done or not just by making the phone call. But, what these people will do up there, there's nothing shocks me now. I wished it did, but it don't. But see, what Alex was talking about is the kind of life I grew up, my kids grew up with that, dinner, and my boys would tell me anything. I valued that. But I've got a granddaughter that she's real disrespectful to her mother and father, and Granny has to step in every now and then.
I don't think I'd want to mess with Granny. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, see, Erin, she was afraid. Erin would get into her, and I mean, unfortunately, she's got her grandmother's mouth, and I told her that don't work for everybody. So, if you're not willing to back it up, you don't need to open it. And but it's a lack of respect. She disrespects her parents, and I got it. I have issues with it. I don't like to see elders disrespected. You disrespect me, I'm me. I can handle me, but I don't like to see others like that. And but I will get you this end as soon as I can. And it was a pleasure meeting you, Tammy and Alex. I appreciate your input.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, you give me a new perspective, one I'd forgotten about, really. I've been wound up so tight with all this other. But with people like you guys in our corner, I believe I believe it's all going to come out. I believe in my heart that I'll be able to get Aaron's cause of death changed, and I can sit down and think for a few minutes and then move on to helping some more people. Hopefully
right.
it'll be somewhere else beside. No, I wished all of it would just, all the corruption, I wished it would just go away, and family and all the evil, all the loss. Because I wouldn't wish it on Dunaway, what they put us through. I wouldn't wish it on Russell Cox. But I guess that's the difference between us.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say goodnight and thank you all so much. You guys are awesome.
Well, Lisa, we just really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us. I know it was difficult with some of the comments and explaining yourself. So we apologize. We didn't mean to upset you.
No.
All of us,
it's always going to hurt. There'll be things that'll always bring tears.
Everybody here with us, Alex and Tammy, Denny and I, and all the followers, we're all behind you. We got Rabbit's Army. I'm telling you, we're right here, honey.
Well, I think we've went to Voices, Army for the Voices, because there's so many of us. It ain't just Rabbit no more. I wish
That's right.
I really do wish it was, because I thought it was, but it ain't. It's not, and that's an ugly reality.
Yeah,
it is.
But I'm gonna say goodnight. Thank you all.
All right.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye. Wow. Amazing. My heart breaks for her.
Goodness.
She's an incredible woman.
Yeah.
She's she deserves a lot of respect, a lot of love for everything that she's been through in life.
Yeah.
And I hope the people that are on the chat with us tonight, that keep Lisa and their thoughts. And I mean, we have Joanne on here and other ones that, we have people that have
Yeah.
had situations, and we, they all deserve our thoughts and prayers with stuff that's happened.
Right.
And, it's just, it's sad. It's really sad what has gone on in that area, because I never really, since I've known her and, made the trip to the Smoky Mountains a few times and listened to things, and
Yeah.
then getting involved with you all and hearing about this and doing
Yeah.
a little bit of research. I mean, I'm totally blown away by the things that happen down there, which, I mean, you can't be, it does happen everywhere. We know that. We know things happen. There's corruption. We know there's crookedness. We know there's always good and there's always going to be evil. There's always going to be the bad side. There's always the other side of anything, and it's sad. It's sad that they have so much of it happening down there. And it's, that term we use, the payroll,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
payroll, it sounds terrible, and all we can do is be there and support her and try to help her in whatever we can. If we all can throw a little change, into this billboard for helping her, it's not only helping her, it's helping everybody.
At least 17 other faces, 17
Right.
other beings that must probably there's probably more.
Yeah, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And guys, the link to that is pulled up on the screen right now, or it should be,
The GoFundMe.
to the GoFundMe for
Yeah.
that.
but if we can all,
Oh, right here.
if we ever are able to, just ask,
I can't see.
help share the videos, help share, the page, anything and everything to help, get the word out for these families.
Absolutely.
And, if you can find it in your heart to donate to the cause, to, help keep this billboard going, please do.
Right.
So,
And we have a video that we're working on that goes into more details on Aaron's case, but it covers these other cases in Tennessee as well, and goes into the corruption, but it goes into the stories of these cases. And I'm hoping it's done in the next couple of weeks, because this one is,
This is one of our biggest ones, and there's so much to do with it. And I mean, I try to bite my tongue and not get too emotional.
Shoo.
But Tammy, just watching you tonight, I noticed how heartbreaking this is for you. And I'm so sorry that you're having to hear this tonight.
Oh, I mean, that's my weakness, is my heart. Well, it can be my weakness and it can be the best thing that I have about myself,
But to know that this is going on back home just
Yeah.
has to be, I just can't imagine. So,
it's too close to home. And Tennessee was a place that, you never met a stranger. It was just a different society than I've ever been in. And it's just not like that anymore. So,
goodness.
so well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the live feed up with that. Continue to send thoughts and prayers out to the families in Tennessee. Again, the link to the GoFundMe for the billboard is still on the screen at the moment. If you can, please donate to that, help these families out. And we will keep you posted as we continue working on these cases. We'll keep you updated. And with that, is there anything you guys would like to add?
Just continue for people to share the videos,
Right.
if you can find it in your heart to subscribe to the page or do anything, sharing the TikTok videos, it's just a little bit of help you can do just to help these other families and stuff and showing support, that's.
And if 20 people, I know a lot of us don't like to talk about money, but if 20 people donated $10, that would put the sign up for a whole week.
Yeah. That easy. Yep.
So.
Yep.
But everybody just try to, some form or another, just try to help out and participate and do what you can do to help these families, and something we had talked, Dennis and I's been talking. It has been brought to our attention that we might make another TikTok page that is going to do with cases like Aaron's versus people who are missing. So we're trying to think of a name that is proper. So I don't know the correct ways, but wrongful suicide, homicide, murder. We're trying to come up with a name to keep the two pages separate. So we have a page that I will do TikToks of missing people with their pictures, the information, and then possibly do another one that deals with people who, are not missing, but something tragic has happened and there was foul play involved somehow with it.
What really happened?
What really.
There's a good name. That was a perfect name, Tammy. What really happened? I loved that. That's almost perfect. That's perfect.
Burned in my brain.
Right. But anyway.
And Alex and I have been thinking about this for a couple of days. Now he's sitting here like she just shoots something out in like 2 seconds.
I know. Tammy, you're really good at that. I don't know how you do that, but you are.
Just kind.
So, hopefully everybody can, we'll get that rolling this week. I think there's quite a few videos in the works coming up. Like we've been talking about, if we can get these permissions granted, we can start these searches. We've got so many possible situations that, if we just get all the permissions granted, we'll be searching boots on the ground well into Thanksgiving, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So if everybody can maybe say a little prayer and we can get that answered and, move on and, hopefully we can move forward with these other situations that we all have just kind of sitting on the books at the moment.
Yeah.
So, we got so much stuff that can possibly go on and happen, it's just for it to happen. That's what we need to happen. Too many for it to happen too much. But I wasn't saying nothing all night.
Yeah, because apparently Bobby said you were chewing on gummy bears there. So yeah, I saw that one, Bobby.
No, I was giving Lisa all my respect and listening to the story, and just trying to hear everything firsthand versus, if I go back and I listen, to the past updates that Dennis has done, on her situation with Aaron, this was the first time to really listen to her live and be able to interact with her. And
she's a heck of a woman, isn't she?
Oh, yes.
Nurse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Been through a lot, but she's a very tough soul, very loving, big-hearted soul person.
That's right. That's right.
God, if you believe in it, you
Yeah.
fight for it, and it's true. I mean, because here's the thing: if we don't take up for our children, who will?
Right.
Right.
So
I mean, she's not only doing this for her, but I mean, there's so many other families. She just wants it to stop completely. So, but yeah.
That is true. Very true. Well, just want to, tell everybody thank you tonight for joining in.
Yes.
You
You guys were amazing. We were so glad you joined us tonight. It was a heck of a live feed tonight.
if anybody has any suggestions on anything that we can do, please please leave them in the comments section, and we'll take a look at it. If anybody needs anything, everybody knows how to get a hold of us.
That's right.
Reach out to us, and we're more than happy. Sometimes we get a little busy and we can't
Right.
jump back on and answer your questions, but we try to do things in a timely manner.
Yeah. So thank you for everybody's patience. We
Right.
appreciate it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
as Lisa just commented, we are fighting for future generations.
that's
Yeah.
why.
We love you, Lisa.
So, guys, with that, we're going to call it a night. We will keep you updated. And as Alex mentioned a little bit ago, we do have other videos that will be coming out over the next several days. So keep an eye out for those. Until next time, you guys stay safe, and let's continue to do everything we can to help these families.
Bye, guys.
Have a great
Bye.
week.
Night, everybody.
Mhm.